Okay. Let's start with our discussion or with our discussion with the problem solving. Additional material natin for BAPE6. Ang topic natin dito is construction contract, particularly under PFRS 15. So without further ado, let's start. So itong sa Quizignment number 7 natin, di ba? Ito yung starting topic natin for the second quarter. Construction contract. So, mahaba tong topic na to. That's why I gave you 2 weeks to answer this, di ba? Kasi kahit yung lecture video natin, mahaba rin, di ba? More than 4 hours rin yun. Kasi mahaba talaga tong construction contract. And as I have said sa lecture video, nung panahon namin, around 2018 batchman kami, iba pa yung ginagamit. Old standard pa yung ginagamit, revenue recognition. As I've explained sa lecture video. Ngayon, pagdating sa inyo, PFRS na yung gagamitin. And mostly of the changes that I have observed sa PFRS 15 is mainly with the with the tawag dito, mga steps, naming ng accounts, but etc. Let's proceed with this. Panoorin niyo yung lecture video. So, ang una, problem 1, true or false tayo. So, number 1, Step 2 of the revenue recognition under PFRS 15 is the allocation of transaction price to the performance obligation of the contract. That is false kasi ang step 2 is identification ng performance obligation sa contract. Number 2, according to PFRS 15, each promise to deliver distinct good or service in a contract is treated as a separate performance obligation. Yes, na-discuss yan. Number 3, Entity X enters into contract to build a house for a customer. The owner identifies, the contract identifies the customer as the owner and is entitled to any asset created in case the contract is terminated before completion. Ngayon, Entity X performance obligation is most likely to be satisfied or to be one that is satisfied at a point in time that is wrong, that is over time. Di ba? Na-explain natin yung difference between the two. Number 4, revenue from a performance obligation that is satisfied over time is recognized as the entity progresses towards the Revenue from a performance obligation that is satisfied over time is recognized as the entity progresses towards the complete satisfaction of the performance obligation. That is true. Ito, fact pattern. Entity A construction firm uses the percentage completion method to account for its construction contract. So, percentage of completion. Entity A measures its progress on a contract using the cost-to-cost method. So, during the year, Entity A started to work on a 10 million fixed price. And fixed price, 10 million. And incurred contract cost of 4 million. The estimated total contract cost is around 8 million. So, 4 million incurred to date, total estimated 8 million, contract price 10 million. So, anong ang tanong dito? Entity A recognizes zero revenue for the year because the contract is not yet complete. No, we're using cost-to-cost method. We will recognize, di ba? Probable naman yan dito, so we will recognize. So, ano mangyayari? 4 million divided by the estimated total contract cost of 8 million. Multiply mo yan. Yan yung percentage completion mo, 50%. Multiply mo yan sa contract price mo, 10 million. O you have a revenue, 5 million. Diba? Ganun ka basic. Entity A, number 6 tayo. So, false yan. Dito pala, nakalagay pala sa side. Number 7. Number 6. Entity A recognizes a profit of 1 million for the year. Yes, true. Kasi, 5 million ang revenue mo. Ang contract cost mo na ni-revert mo to contract mo sa construction cost, yeah, 4 million o 5 million minus 4 million, 1 million basic. Number 7, the percentage of completion under a construction contract is always computed based on the cost incurred to date as they bear to the expected total cost of completion. Remember, di ba? Sa input method, marami tayong ginagamit diyan. Yung cost, yung resources consumed, labor hours, machine hours, input method pa yan. Meron pa tayong output method, yung mga survey works, diba? So, hindi lang ito. False yan. Number 8, contract assets and receivables are the same. No, they are very different. Number 9, Kasi ang contract assets, if I remember correctly, it is condition other than the passage of time, di ba? Conditional siya. Si receivable, unconditional siya. Unconditional right to cost ni entity. Number 9, a contract liability is recognized if an entity bills a customer before the transfer of promised goods or services. Yes. Number 10, a contract asset is recognized if an entity's right to consideration is unconditional. Gaya na sabi natin dito sa number 8, ang main difference ni contract assets and receivables, contract assets, conditional siya. Receivables, unconditional. So, false tong si number 10. Kasi contract asset, unconditional lang daw. Hindi. So, let's go to na problem 2, multiple choice theory. May nag-chat. Okay. So, okay. Itag ko enters into a construction Itag ko enters into a construction contract with the customer. So, under PFRS 15, it requires itag to do all of the following at contract inception except for what? Basahin natin. Assess the customer's ability and intention to pay the contract price on the due date. Kailangan gawin. Letter B, assess whether the promised goods and services in the contract are individually distinct, diba? Para sa kung single performance obligation yan or multiple. Letter C, determine if the performance obligation or obligations identified in the contract are satisfied over time or at a point in time kasi mag-ibang recognition dyan. So, kailangan gawin. Sa letter D naman, estimate the total construction cost at completion. Hindi yan. Because ginagamit mo lang naman yan sa cost-to-cost method. What if gagamitin mo yung output method, di ba? Mga survey works, di ba? Total contract cost may need to be estimated only if the entity chooses to use the cost-to-cost method. Hindi necessary kapag may other method na gagamitin gaya ng output method, as I've said. So, hindi kailangan. Nakadepende sa kung ano yung method na gagamitin. Number 2, which of the following is incorrect regarding step 2 of the revenue recognition under PFRS 15. Now, step 2 is about performance obligation, di ba? Recognition of the performance obligation, determination of the performance obligation. Tama ba? Identification of performance obligation na contract. So, alin daw dito ang incorrect? An entity shall treat each promise na contract to transfer a distinct good or services as a separate performance obligation. Yes. B, an entity shall treat a promise to transfer a distinct bundle of goods or services as a separate performance obligation. Yes. Distinct Ito separate pa, di ba? Each promise distinct, okay? Letter C, an entity shall treat a promise to transfer series of distinct goods or services that are substantially the same and have the same pattern of transfer to the customer as a separate performance. The entity shall treat a promise to transfer a series of distinct goods or services that are substantially the same and have the same pattern transfer. Kahit na same yung transfer nila, yeah, same pattern, pero distinct sila, yung goods or services, separate pa rin. Letter D, an entity shall treat all promises in a single contract as a single performance obligation regardless of the nature of those promises if those promises are negotiated with a customer as a single package. So, yan ang mali. Number 3, Windows Co enters into a 5-year construction contract with a customer. At contract inception, Windows determines each performance obligation in the contract and concludes that it has a single performance obligation. Okay, 5-year contract, single performance obligation. Windows also determines that its performance in the contract creates an asset that the customer controls as the asset is created. The asset created has no alternative use, di ba? Para naging familiar na, para nagiging concept na siya ng overtime, hindi ng at a point in time, di ba? Overtime siya. So, continue natin. The asset created has no alternative use to window and window has an enforceable right to payment for performance completed to date. Windows would most likely recognize revenue from the contract, alin dito, over 5 years, when the contract is completed using the percentage of completion. The correct answer is letter A. Yeah? Letter A. Ano number to? Letter A. Over the period of 5 years, by measuring its progress towards the complete satisfaction of the performance obligation, kasi overtime yung concept niya. Number 4, an entity uses an input method based on cost incurred to measure its progress on a performance obligation that is satisfied over time. Which of the following items would most likely affect the entity's computation for the revenue to be recognized each year? So, dalawa. Revenue previously recognized and progress billings to date. Isa lang ang mag-a-affect dyan. Revenue previously recognized kasi pag nag-measure tayo ng percentage of completion, ano nangyayari? Yung buo, di ba? Nasasama yung previous period. Pag inaalam lang natin ano yung for the current period, tatanggalin mo. Kasi nag-accumulate yan eh. O, nadagdagdagan. So, para malaman mo ano lang yung for the current period, tanggalin mo yung previous period. Kasi pag nagbe-measure ka na ng contract price times the percentage of completion, nasasama yung previous period. Of course, kasi nangyari na eh. Nag-accumulate siya. So, ang mag-affect lang, revenue previously recognized, progress billing to date. So, ano dyan? Yes, no. So, letter B. So, an entity's performance obligation under long-term contract will be satisfied over time. Revenues recognized when recorded progress billings are collected or exceeded recorded loss. Same dito. Yung progress billing, wala tayo kebs yan. Di ba? Wala tayo kebs yan. Wala yung effect sa ano natin. Sa revenue, sa cost natin. Depende na yun sa collection nila. Separate yan. Kaya wala yung effect. Yeah. Ito naman under the zero profit method, number 6. Contract revenue for the period is equal to 0. Not necessarily equal to the cost of the construction cost period. Equal to the contract price divided by the estimated construction period. Equal to the cost of construction recognized during the period that are probable of recovery. Yes. Kasi naman problema sa zero profit eh. 'Di ba? Huwag ka magre-recognize ng profit. Kaya nga zero profit kapag yung probability is medyo hindi sure. Pag sure ka, the probable recovery, okay. Contract revenue, goods, equals to the cost of recognized during the period that are probable of recovery. In the construction of complex structures wherein the cost incurred and the efforts expended on a contract do not correlate to the stage of completion of the project, the most appropriate method for measuring progress on the contract is input method based on cost. Yun na nga ang problema, hindi klaro eh. Zero profit. Medyo dyan eh. Kasi wala naman sinabi na walang recovery, di ba? Na may complex method, output method. Gagamit ka na dyan ng expertise. Why? Look at this, complex structures wherein the cost incurred and other efforts expended in the contract do not correlate. Di ba? So, gagamit ka na ng expert opinion dyan, mga professionals, output method. A long-term contract, number 8, contract becomes onerous. Di ba? Ano meaning ng onerous? Yung estimated cost mo, mas mataas na sa contract price, di ba? So, basically, parang nalulugi ka. So, malulugi ka. Kasi mas mataas yung cost kaysa magkano yung marireceive mo, di ba? What is the effect of the event on the entity's profit for the year under each of the following scenarios? The performance obligation, the contract is satisfied over time, and a reasonable measure of progress is available. Over time, and no reasonable measure of progress is available at a point in time. So, alin dyan? Anong magiging effect? Decrease yan lahat. Number 9, an entity enters into a contract with a customer to build an asset for 1 million. In addition, the terms of the contract includes a penalty, so may variable consideration tayo. Includes a penalty of 100,000 if the construction is not completed within 3 months of the date specified in the contract. Which of the following statements is correct? Transaction price, a fixed, hindi. The transaction prices includes a fixed amount of 1 million, variable, hindi. The transaction price includes a fixed amount of 900 and a variable amount, so letter C. Lastly, which of the following statement is correct or incorrect, hindi tama, regarding the uncertainty in the collectability of the promised consideration in a contract according to PFRS 15. So, which of the following statements is incorrect regarding the uncertainty in the collectability of the promised consideration in a contract? So, alin daw hindi correct dyan? If the uncertainty in collectability arises at contract inception, the entity does not recognize any revenue and treats any advance collections liability. Correct yan? Dapat yan. Letter B. If the uncertainty is in collectability arises subsequent to the contract inception, the entity recognizes a loss. Yes. If the uncertainty in collectability arises subsequent to the contract inception, the entity restricts any revenue recognized. Then, past 8 na yan. Accounting. Progressive, ano tawag ito? Retroactive. Progressive, proactive. Ano tawag ito? Prospectively. Isa, retrospectively. Yung pabalik. Ito, prospectively. Saan tayo? Industrial collectivity, contract inception, previous periods. Mali ito. Dapat prospectively. Kasi sasabi dito, mag-retrospect ka. Hindi naman ganun eh. Past 8, prospectively. Ito naman isa, the entity, letter D, the entity is required to assess the collectability of the consideration at contract inception and continues to do so. So letter C yung mali dito. Prospectively kasi dapat. So with that said, let's go to number problem. Sa Quizignment nyo, under problem 4, multiple choice, computational. So ito, mahaba to. Okay, going problem 4, multiple choice computational. So, sa number 1 tayo. So, basic lang to. Number 1, George Co. enters into a contract to build an apartment for Jungle Co. for a fixed fee of 20 million. At contract inception, George Co. assesses its performance obligation the contract and concludes that it has a single performance obligation that is satisfied over time. So, yan yung follow nila. So, George Co. determines that the measure progress that depicts its performance in the contract is input method based on cost incurred. So, yun yung gagamitin niya. George estimates that the total contract cost would amount to 16 million over the construction period and George incurs contract cost of 2 million during the year. So, ngayon, ang tanong, how much is the revenue recognized for the year? So, basically, gagawin mo lang percentage of completion times the contract price para malaman mo yung revenue for the year. So, in this case, 20 million, di ba? Tapos, 16 million yung total cost. Contract cost, 2 million na yung nagawa. 2 times 16, yan yung percentage of completion. Ilan yan? Bumili ako ng bagong calcu kasi nasira na yung luma na ginagamit ko since college. So, 2 divided by 16, that's 12.5%, di ba? So, times mo sa 20 million, 2,500,000 yung iyong revenue for the year. Yeah, basic, letter B. Number 2, on May 1, 2020X1, Pressure Co. entered into a 3 million fixed price contract to construct a gym for a customer. So, si Pressure Co., the entity, appropriately accounts for this contract using the percentage of completion method based on cost. Information on the contract is as follow. Yeah? So, ito sa 2001, 20x1, 20x2, percentage of completion, 20% ang na-complete. 60% naman yung na-complete for 20x2. Estimated total cost at completion, 2.25, 2.4. Profit recognized to date. So, ang tanong, how much are the revenue and costs of construction recognized in 20x2? So, basically, anong ganda gawin dito? Fill out mo lang yung table. Diba? Fill out mo yung table kung ano yung blanco, ay di squeeze mo. Diba? Ganun kasimple. So, may total contract price tayo. Given, 3 million naman eh. Percentage of completion, 20, 60%. So, contract revenue to date natin, multiply mo lang, 601.8. Ngayon, minus mo lang. Contract revenue prior years para malaman mo ano yung revenue for that current year. Diba? So, 20x1 is 600. Wala man previous year. Sa 20x2, may previous year kang 600. So, 1.2 yung for 20x2 lang kasi yung 600 yan ang galing sa prior year. Ngayon, meron ka namang profit recognized to date. So, dito yung sa baba. Di ba? Basic. So, meron kang blanco dito. Finill out mo lang yung table, may blanco ka. O, yan yung sagutin mo. Hanapin mo. So, yun. In that case, ang tinatanong, how much is revenue and the cost of construction? So, 450 yung cost of construction mo and 600 yung revenue mo for the current year, for 20x1. For ano naman, For 20x2, your cost of construction is 990. Contract revenue mo naman is 1.2. So, that is letter A. Yeah? Oh, tandaan nyo, mga contract for the current year lang hinahanap. So, tanggalin mo yung previous year kasi accumulate yan. Cumulative kasi yan. Don't forget about that. So, dito naman tayo sa next item. So, use the following information for the next 3 questions. So, next 3 question, number 3, 4, and 5. So, in 2001, or 20x1, builder co entered into contract with the customer for the construction of a building. So, the contract price is a fixed fee of 9M, so 9 million. Information of the contract is shown below. So, itong December 31, 20x1 and 20x2. So, cumulative contract cost incurred to date, 3.9 and 6.3. Take note, cumulative contract cost. Be careful with the wording. Meaning, for 20x1, 3.9 lang yan. For the 20x2, nasama dyan yung from the previous year. So, para malaman kung ano lang yung para kay 20x2, appropriated lang para sa kanya, o 6.3 minus 3.9. Be very careful of the cumulative. Estimated total cost of completion, 7.8 and 8.1. So, yung given, let's go to the question kasi 3, 4, 5 yan eh. So, at contract inception, builder co assess the contract in accordance with the principles of PFRS 15 and concludes that it has a single performance obligation that is satisfied over time. Builder co determined that the appropriate measure of its progress on the contract is input method based on cost incurred. So, ang tanong, how much are the gross profit, revenue, and cost of construction recognized in 20x2 respectively? So, di ba? Given naman yung given naman yung given naman yung table, di ba? Input ka na lang, ganyan ka basic, procedural talaga ang ang advac, di ba? Very procedural. So, ito. Hanapin natin si gross profit, si revenue, and cost of construction. So, total contract price 9M, cost incurred to date 3.9 and 6.3, tandaan cumulative to, di ba? Estimated cost to complete, no need because estimated total cost of completion, given naman, 7.8, 8.1. With that said, ang expected profit or loss natin, di ba? 9 million being the contract price, minus the estimated total contract cost, o 1.2 na lang. Same dito, 9 million minus 8.1, 900. Then, yung percentage of completion natin, 3.9 na yung cost incurred to date. Ang total is 7.8, so 50%. For 20x2, 6.3 na yung incurred to date, 8.1 yung estimated total contract cost, di ba? Nag-iba, di ba? Kasi nga, prospective application tayo dito. So, 900,000. So, 77.77%, di ba? So, yun. Profit or loss to date mo, 1.2 times 50%, 600. And 900 times 77.7% is 700. Ngayon, ang tinatanong naman dito is, recognize in 20x2 for that year lang. Yeah? For 2002 or 20x2. So, tanggalin mo yung recognize in prior years kasi, as you can see here, nasama yung prior years. Tingnan mo, 6.3, cost incurred to date, 8.1, 900 expected, di ba? So, nasama dyan, nag-accumulate dyan. Cumulative kasi yan eh, yung prior years. Tanggalin mo. Para malaman mo lang yung for the current year or for that particular year. So, 600 for 20x1, 20x2, it's 100. So, meron na tayong gross profit, di ba? Meron tayong gross profit, 100. Ngayon, hanapin naman natin si revenue and cost of construction. So, basic na lang yan sila, di ba? May table naman eh. Just follow it. Input na lang. Total contract price, 9 million. Percentage of completion as computed, 50% and 7.7%. Contract revenue to date natin as of 20x1 is 4.5, 20x2 is 7 million. Contract revenue per year, siyempre kasi cumulative yan eh. Tanggalin mo para malaman mo ano yung for that particular year. So, contract revenue for the year is 4.5, 20x1, for 20x2 it's 2.5 million. So, may contract revenue na tayo, di ba? May revenue na tayo. 2.5 million. Then next, meron ka namang profit or loss for the year eh. Hindi mo alam yung cost of construction eh. Kaya nga pinapahanap sa'yo eh. Pero meron kang profit or loss for the year. It's 600 and 100,000. So, input mo lang sila dito para ma-squeeze me baby mo siya. 3.9, 2.4. O yun, meron ka na. 2.5, contract revenue for the year. 2.4, cost of construction. And 100 profit. So, yun. Letter, ano yun siya? So, letter C. Number 3, letter C. Dito pala. Now, let's go to the next one. Number 4. Same item pa rin, diba? Same given. So, the performance obligation is satisfied over time. However, builder ko cannot reasonably measure the outcome of the performance obligation, pero he expects, or the company, the entity expects, to recover all contract costs incurred. How much are the gross profit, revenue, and cost of construction recognized in 20X2 respectively? So, anong pansin nyo dyan? Cost recovery approach, zero profit method ang gagamitin. So, in that case, ito, number 4, contract revenue for the year equal to the cost incurred per year. Di ba? Kasi zero profit eh. Wala kang i-recognize na na profit. Di ba? Di ba? That the revenue is only recognized up to the cost that is expected to be, anong word na yan? To be recovered, di ba? So, in this case, quits lang. 3.9, 3.9, 2.4 to. Kasi yung mga to be recovered eh. Kaya wala yan. Zits. Zero. So, in that case, the cost incurred doon, kasi cumulative siya, gaya na sabi natin. So, in that case, ang natin, wala tayong gross profit. So, same, ang revenue natin, 2.4. Cost of construction natin is 2.4. Quits lang yan sila. Cost recovery approach yan eh. Zero profit method. Ulitin lang natin, revenue is recognized as to the amount of cost that is expected to be recovered. So, revenue mo 2.4. Kasi nga, ang cost mo to be recovered lang is 2.4 for 20X2, zero profit. Number 5, at the contract inception, builder co-assess the contract in accordance with the principles of PFRS 15 and concludes that it has a single performance obligation that is satisfied at a point in time. Point in time naman this time, which is when the construction is completed and legal title over the constructed building is transferred to the customer. So, ang tanong dito, how are the gross profit? How much are the gross profit, revenue, and cost of construction to be recognized in 20X2? So, basically, simple ang answer dito. Letter A, 0 for all of them. Bakit? Kasi nga, wala tayong nire-recognize eh. Basahin natin to. No revenue, cost of construction, and gross profit are recognized during the course of the construction. Bakit? Kailan na lang natin sila nire-recognize? These are recognized only when the construction is completed and legal title over the constructed buildings transferred to the customer. Kasi, di ba, yan yung difference ni overtime, pati ni ni point in time, di ba? Sa overtime, habang nangyayari, okay, recognize. Pero, point in time, wala eh. Habang ginagawa mo yan, wala kang i-recognize. Magkakaroon na ng recognition pag nagkaroon na ng construction is complete and legal title is transferred. Di ba? Yan yung difference sila. Kaya dito, as of 20X2, since hindi pa rin tapos, okay, wala kayo recognize sa gross profit, revenue, and cost of construction. Tsaka na. Pag nagkaroon na ng, pag na-complete na, ay na-transfer na yung legal title. So, going to number 6. Entity A, a construction firm, started work in a construction contract with a fixed price of 18 million in 20X1. At contract inception, Entity A estimated total contract cost of 12 million. So, yan. 18M ang fixed price, 12 million ang estimated total contract cost. The estimate remained in 20X1, pero nagkaroon ng additional but a change in circumstance in 20X2 made Entity A reassess the estimate. So, Entity A now concludes that, or concluded on December 31, 20X2, that 12.3 million instead of the original 12.M is a more appropriate estimate of the total contract cost. Construction work was finished in 20X3, the following were the actual costs incurred. So, nagkaroon ng pass 8 tayo dyan, prospectively, tandaan nyo. Pass 8 or PAS 8, yeah? Contract cost incurred per year, diba? 20X1, X2, and XT, 3 million, 5.364, and 3.916. Entity A's single performance obligation na contract is satisfied over time. So, yun. Entity A uses the cost-to-cost method in measuring its progress in the contract. How much is the profit? Recognized in 20X3. So, simple lang naman ang gagawin yan eh. Prospectively lang. Walang masyadong complication. So, input nyo lang sa table. Contract price nyo. Ang tinatanong naman dito is how much is the profit. Okay, contract price nyo, 18M. Provided. For 20X1, wala naman since walang pinagbago. Siya lang naman nagbago, di ba? Okay. 12 million estimated total contract cost, expected total gross profit mo 6, percentage of completion natin kasi 3 million out of the 12 million completed na, di ba? To 25%. Gross profit to date mo is 1.5. Yeah? Ano bang tanong dito? For 20x3. So yun, may 1.5 ka na. Go to 20x2. Sa 20x2 doon na nagkaroon ng changes. So 18M pa rin yung contract price mo pero yung contract cost mo, estimated total contract cost, nag-iba na, 12 million, 12.3 na. So, ilagay input mo lang. Walang issue dyan. Prospective application. Dinadamay si 20x1 dyan. Dinadamay yung previous. So, yun. Expected total gross profit. Ngayon, this time, percentage of completion mo is 68% na. Nag-iba na yung dito mo, di ba? Sa computation, 12.3 na ginagamit. So, yun. Continue lang. Then, gross profit to date, 3.876. Tanggalan mo yung prior year kasi kailangan, hinahanap mo lang yung for that particular year kasi as you can see, as you have said, as you have discussed, cumulative yan sila. So, yun, 3.7. Then, same this year, 18.12, 100% na kasi completed na siya. 5,720,000. Pero gross profit to date yan, cumulative. Tanggalin mo yung previous year, di ba? Tanggalin mo, 1.844 ang iyong, diba? Ang iyong gross profit for the year 20x3, which is letter 1844, letter D. Now, let's go to number 7. Number 7 naman, on January 1, 20x1, Saturday construction ko enters into a contract to construct a building for our customer. Saturday identifies its performance obligation to contract as satisfied over time. So, yung mag-given. Saturday uses the input method based on cost to measure its progress on the contract. The contract price is 8M. Information of construction is provided below. So, ito sa 20x1, 20x2, 20x3. Contract cost incurred to date. So, cumulative rin to. Billings per year, 431. And estimated cost to complete. So, obviously, by 20x3, di ba? Kasi ito, kompleto na siya, di ba? Construction is complete na. All billings in a year were collected also in that year. So what amounts are presented in Saturday's December 31, 20x2 statement of financial position under traditional accounting and PFRS 15 respectively. So as you can remember sa ating lecture video, yun yung ginawa, di ba? Kinumpare si traditional kay PFRS 15. Ngayon sa traditional, as you have said, yan yung tinuro sa amin. PFRS 15, nagbago na pagdating sa inyo. But, as what Sir Rex Manggawan has posted, di ba? Kahit na paiba-iba yan, di ba? Kasi mostly ang nagpalit dyan is, is yung name of accounts, di ba? Ayun yung arrangement nila. Pero as long as you understand the concept, wala yung problema. Di ba? As long as you understand the concept, kahit anong problem pa yan, basta naintindihan mo yung fundamentals, walang issue. You can still answer the problem. So, saan na tayo? Okay. Ang pinapanap sa atin, gross amount due from the customer, yan yung sa traditional accounting. For the PFRS 15, yung bago, contract asset and liability. So, ito tayo dito, number 7. So, ignore muna natin to. Statement, what amounts are presented in the contract? Okay. Okay, let's do. So, ito yung table, di ba? Basic table. Contract price, 8 million. Contract cost incurred to date. Provided naman dito. Okay, boom. Estimated cost to complete. Dito naman yan. So, estimated total contract cost natin para malaman ng total gross profit, 8M minus 6.1, 8M minus 6.050, 8M minus 6 million. Itong expected total gross profit natin, 1.9, 1.950, 2 million, percentage of completion. Yeah? Obviously, cost incurred to date and cost incurred to date divided by estimated total cost by 30%, 80%, 100%, gross profit to date. Diba? Similar lang. Input lang. Very procedural. 570, 1.560, and 2 million. Gross profit, tanggal mo yung kasi cumulative yan. Gross profit for the year natin is 570 for 20x1, 990 for 20x2, 440 for 20x3. So, ngayon, balik tayo dito sa task. Sa tag dito? For traditional accounting to ah. Ito yung for PFRS 15. So, balik tayo sa taas. Cost incurred to date, ang pinapahanap naman sa atin dito is 20x2. So, cost construction in progress natin. Construction in progress. Uy. Saan nagloko yung ano? Saan yun? Dito sa taas. Construction in progress natin for ito. Cost incurred to date minus the gross profit. The gross profit, 570 yung 990. Construction in progress natin, 6.4. So, ilagay mo dyan. Construction in progress mo, ibig sabihin kung magkano na nagastos mo, ba? For that construction, 6.4. Pero kahit na 6.4 pa lang yung nagastos mo, nag-bill ka kay customer, humingi ka na sa kanya ng 7 million. 6.4 pa lang yung nagagawa mo, pero nag-bill ka na ng 7 million. So, anong meaning yan? Entitled ka lang sa 6.4. Yan lang yung entitlement mo. Pero humingi ka na ng 7 million. So, ano meaning yan? Gross amount due to customer, 600,000. 6.4 lang yung entitlement mo. 7 million ang hiningi mo. O, may utang ka pa sa customer. Basically, ganun. May liability ka pa sa kanya. In the amount of 600,000, gross amount due to customer. Kasi pag nagiging from customer yan, kapag yung entitlement mo, let's say, baliktarin natin, is 7 million, pero humingi ka lang ng 6.4. O, gross amount from customer yon kasi nga, mas malaki yung entitlement mo kaysa sa liability mo. Di ba? Pero in this case, mas malaki yung binil mo, yung hiningi mo, kaysa sa kung ano ka lang entitled. Kaya due to customer yan, 600,000, traditional accounting, 600,000, hanap na, Going to PFRS 15, diba? Dito tayo sa baba. Contract price, 8 million. Percentage of completion, given naman. Na-answer na beforehand. So, 2.4, revenue today, 6.4, 8 million. Since cumulative yan, tanggalin mo yung previous year. So, revenue for the year is 2.4, 4 million and 16, and 1,600,000. Yan yung pinagkaiba nila. Pero yung end result, pareho lang. So, in that case, billings natin is 4 million. As you can see here, ba? 420x1. Then, nagkaroon ka ng revenue of 2.4 and 4 million. Pero nag-bill ka ulit ng 3 million for 20x2. So, anong meaning yan? Yung revenue na yan, entitled ka dyan. 2.4 plus 6 is 6.4 million, di ba? Pero nag-bill ka na ng 7 million sa customer mo. Oo. Entitled ka lang sa 6.4. Di ba? Same explanation dito. Entitled ka lang sa 6.4. Pero, humingi ka na ng 7 million. Aba, grabe naman. So, kaya may contract liability ka in the amount of 600,000. Kasi nga, entitled ka lang sa 2.4 kasi yan pala yung nagagawa mo. Bakit ka nahihingi ng 7 million? So, meaning, yung excess of 600,000, liability mo yun. Contract liability. Kailangan mo pa yung gawin. Oo. Yan yung meaning yan. Same explanation, di ba? Same concept. Same fundamentals from traditional accounting and PFRS 15. Nag-iba lang sa presentation. But the fundamentals, the concepts is the same. So, yan. The answer is letter B. So, let's go to number 8. So, dito tayo sa number 8. Use the following information for the next two question, which is for number 8 and number 9. So, in 20X1, Great Construction Co. started work on a 5 million fixed price contract. Information on the construction is shown below. Cost incurred per year and estimated cost to complete. 20X1, X2, and X3. Ito yung kanilang amounts. Okay? 20X3 natapos, di ba? Kasi wala nang estimated cost to complete eh. So, GREAT uses the percentage of completion method that is based on cost in recognizing revenue and profit from the contract. So the question is, for number 8, how much is the loss provision recognized in 20x2? Number 9, how much is the profit or loss recognized in 20x3? So anong ito? Ito na yung topic natin, yung sa onerous contracts, di ba? Sana yung mangyayari, di ba? Ang gagamitin mo is yung past 30, past 32 ba yun? O, hindi, past 37, yung provisions, contingent liabilities, contingent assets, di ba? Yun yung application dito. So, ang tanong, ang tanong ulit, how much the loss provision recognized in 20x2? So, input lang tayo sa table, di ba? Input lang. 5 million, ang ating contract price, fixed price, 5M, 5M, cost incurred to date, input, 1.425, then since cost incurred to date yan, cumulative yan, yeah? So, add mo lang si 1.425 kay 2615 for 4040, add mo rin yung kay 1040 para maging 5,080 yan. Then, estimated cost to complete, provided naman, 3.325 and 1,010,000. Ito, wala dito. Estimated total contract cost natin, 20x1, 20x2, and 20x3, 4,750,000, 5,550,000, and 5,080,000. May lumilipad. So, ngayon, ito na yung problema. For 20x1, may profit ka pa rin. Expected total profit in amount of 250. Pagdating ng 20x2, onerous contract na siya. Nag-iba na. Di ba? 50,000 na. Bakit? 5M yung ano niya eh. Yung contract price. Pero yung estimated total contract cost nyo, lumampas. 5,050,000 na. So, may expected total loss ka of 50K. Pagdating ng 20x3, tumaas yan into 80K. So, paano yan? Anong gagawin natin? Same sa ginawa natin sa lecture video discussion natin, di ba? Ganun lang kasimple. So, for 20x1, ba? For 20x1, since ang percentage of completion natin is already 30%, di ba? Simple na lang yung pag-solve yan. So, you can see here, yeah, percentage of completion, 30%, 1.25, estimated dito na sa baba, 30%, 80%, and 100%. So, for 20x1, 250 times 30% percentage completion, 75K, profit loss to date, profit loss for the year, 75K rin. Pagdating ng 20x2, kung kailan nandun na yung loss provision natin, yeah, nagkaroon na ng loss, gaya na yung sinabi sa lecture video discussion, automatic in full ang pag-ano nito. Hindi na yan sa percentage of completion. In full ang recognition ng loss. Kaya pagdating dito, loss to date is 50K. Ngayon, ito naman, itong 75K na to, di ba? Galing yan dito. 75K, 125, sir. Anong meaning niya, sir? Bakit ganyan? Di ba? Anong nangyari dito? 75K profit, bakit nag-minus dito? Ano yan, sir? Automatic yan, basta dito minus. Kasi dito hindi naman, di ba? As we have presented yung logic nito sa lecture video, di ba? Ganito na yung kasimple. Kasi at first, ang recognition mo is 25K masyadong malaki. Kasi at first, ang recognition mo, di ba? Kasi di ba, at first, ang recognition mo, 75K profit. Yeah, line yan. Ngayon, pagdating ng ito, 20x1 to, 75K profit, pagdating ng 20x2, anong nangyari? Nag-recognize ka ng, or nagkaroon ka ng 50K loss. So, in the table, or in the line, di ba? Basic math to, graphic, basic algebra, ano to? 0 to. Meron ka ng 50K loss. From being 75K na profit, naging 50K loss na siya. Di ba? Kawawa ka naman. So, bakit to 125? Kasi from this point to this point, that is 125K. Nag-decrease ka ng by 125K. Kasi from being 75K profit, naging 50K loss na. So, from this point to this point, nag-recognize ka ng, or nagkaroon ng dip, bumagsak ng 125K. Kaya dito nakalagay 125K. So, inulit lang natin yung ginawa nating explanation sa logic behind this, sa reasoning behind this, dun sa lecture video. So, ginawa lang natin ulit. And same rin dito. Di ba? From 20x3, naging 80K na. 80K loss. Yeah? Then, dito, ano nangyari? Nagkaroon ng 30K loss ulit. Bakit? Same logic dito. Paano? Diba? Ito, let's say, na-move natin dito. Ito na yung 50k loss. Now, from being a 50k loss, naging 80k na. Mas nag-dip siya. Diba? Mas bumagsak. So, from this point to this point, nagkaroon ng additional decrease of 30k. Kaya dito, 30k. Yeah, yan lang yung logic dyan. So, in that case, continuing with our discussion. So, yan na. Profit or loss, same Z's, di ba? Ngayon, let's go to the next table. Total contract price, 5 million, 5 million. Percentage completion is computed, 30, 80, and 100%. Revenue to date, di ba? 1.5, 4 million. Kasi minumultiply mo in 5 million. Revenue in prior years para malaman mo yung for the current year lang. Kasi nag-cumulative yan siya. 1.5, 2.5, and 1 million. Construction cost natin as provided here. Diba? For the year to, for the particular year, 1.35, 2.615, and 1.04. Gross profit for the year, 75k. Kita nyo dito, negative 115. Dito naman, negative 40. Negative 40. So with that said, pansin nyo, hindi sila same. Pero magiging same yan because of the loss provision and reversal. So 10k dito. So naging 125 siya. Diba? So net profit for the year, 75k, 125, and 30. Yan na. So ano answer natin dito? It is letter A, 10k. That is our loss provision. Yeah. Ngayon, ang number 9 question is how much the profit or loss recognized in 20x3. The answer is letter C, 30k. Yeah. Ito yun, no? So, let's go to number 10. So, don't forget, don't forget the onerous contract. Past 37. Provisions, contingent assets, and liabilities. Or contingent liabilities, contingent assets. Contingent, ano ba mo na? Asset, liability. Anyways, let's go to number 10. Use the following question or information for the next two question. On January 1, 20x1, Frownico enters into a contract with the customer for the construction of a building. Frowny's performance obligation on the contract is satisfied over time. Frowny uses the cost-to-cost method in measuring its progress on the contract. And information on the contract is follows. So, ito yun. Instead of enable, list pa. Table lang sana to. So, transaction price natin 3M. Estimated total cost of construction as of the end of 20x1, December 31, 2.25 million. Percentage of completion for that year is 40%. Going to the next year, 20x2, contract cost incurred to date is 1.8 million. Estimated cost to complete, 600k. Yeah, for 20x2 yan sila. So, ang tanong sa atin is, una, for number 10, how much the estimated cost to complete as of December 31, 20x1, and 11, how much are the revenue and cost of construction that is to be recognized in 20x2. So, going to number 10, how much is the estimated cost to complete as of December 31, 20x1. So, basically, ang nangyayari dito is kulang lang ng information pero given naman yung iba, so pwede mo lang silang i-work back. Ganun lang kasimple. Dito, pinakita pa paano, binigyan ka pa ng proforma. Pero basic na lang yan kasi work back na lang yan. Meron kang information nito, meron kang blanco dito, but they are interrelated. Magagamit mo sila to look for the other one. Okay, goods. So in this case, ganun yung ginawa. Kasi ganun lang talaga dapat. Cost incurred to date, wala, di ba? Pinapanap sa atin, estimated cost to complete. Ang estimated cost to complete naman natin is, di ba? Part siya ng estimated total contract cost. So, yun yung ano. So, wala tayong cost incurred to date. Wala tayong estimated cost to complete, which is pinapahayap na number 10. Pero may estimated total contract cost tayo for 20x1. And meron din tayong percentage of completion. Now, take note. Logic will tell you that percentage of completion is a portion of the estimated total contract cost which has already been incurred to date. Dalawa yan. Kasi diba? Saan nanggaling ang percentage completion? Galing yan siya dito. Oh, so dalawa yan sila. Si cost incurred to date and si estimated cost complete. And since alam mo naman dito na galing to siya dito, cost incurred to date, nung dinivide sa total contract cost, so lang 40%. Ito. Yeah? And 60%. naman ito. So, work back mo na lang. Kaya dito, ang ginawa, yun. Cost incurred to date, yung total, yeah, 40%, 900,000. Yeah, basic. Ngayon, with that said, squeeze mo na lang. So, ang answer is 1,350,000. So, letter C. Yeah? Pinahaba pa. Binigyan pa kayo ni Jesus ng additional. Going to number 11, how much are the revenue and cost of construction recognized in 20x2? So, just do the table ulit, diba? 3 million, contract price, cost incurred to date, diba? Gawin nyo na lang. To estimated total contract cost, 2,250,000, 2,400,000, kasi inad mo lang 1.8600, diba? Expected profit or loss, 750,600, multiply by the percentage of completion, basic na lang to, 40%, 75%, di ba? Ito, given naman, ito, minultiply nyo, sinolve nyo pa, 600 divided by 600, 1.8 divided by 2,400,000. So, may profit or loss rate kayo, 300, 450. As you have said, this is cumulative. So, tanggalin mo yung previous year para malaman mo yung for the current year, 300 and 150. So, meron na kayong profit for the year, di ba? For 20x2, it's 150,000. Now, let's look for the cost of construction. Total contract price, 3 million. Percent completion, contract revenue to date, 1.2 and 2.25. So, meron ka ng contract revenue for the year, di ba? 1.2 and 1.05. Meron ka ng profit. Ito. Input mo dito. So, yung cost of construction, squeeze mo na lang, 900,000. So, the answer is letter A. 1,050 ang iyong revenue, ang iyong cost of construction, 900. Basic na lang. So, let's go to number 12. So, number 12, entity X, construction firm, enters into contract to build the water treatment facility for a customer. The contract price is total construction cost plus 50% o cost plus variable fee to. So, variable fee. So, pagdating sa mga ganyan, ano yung sinabi ng standard? I-count mo lang siya if it is highly probable that walang reversal na mangyayari in the future if that particular contingent was resolved, di ba? Ibig sabihin, pag ginamit mo na siya, highly probable na hindi na magbabago pag nangyari yung contingent. So, pag ganun yung sinabi ng problem, edi gamitin mo. Di ba? Yun yung usapan, di ba, sa standard. So, however, the variable fee increases to 20% if the project is completed within 3 years. So, ito na yung mag-estimate yung papakiramdaman, mag-assess yung entity kung ma-achieve ba nila to o hindi. Kung highly probable na okay, goods. So, completed within 3 years, entity X incurs the following costs. Year 1, year 2, year 3, costs incurred each year, 10 million, 10.5, 14.3, 6, excuse me po, estimated cost to complete, 19.5, 6.2, alhamdulillah. So, wala na dito, ibig sabihin natapos sa year 3. So, in year 1, it is not highly probable that the additional fee will be received. So, wala kang gagawin sa year 1. Pagdating ng year 2, however, after a change in circumstances in year 2, it is now highly probable that the additional fee, yung 20%, will be received. So, magkakaroon ng sa year 2. Entity X uses the percentage of completion method based on cost. How much is recognized in year 3? So, sa year 1, wala kang gagawin kasi hindi highly probable. So, 10.5 lagay mo. Estimated cost to complete, 30 million. Plus yung cost plus variable fee of 15. So, 115 mo, 34,500,000 ang estimated total contract price mo. Multiply mo na sa sa percentage of completion, that is 10.5 divided by 30 million, di ba? So, that's 35%. Sure ba? 10.5 divided by 30. Para sure tayo. Yeah, that's 35%. 12,075 revenue. So, do the same with the others. Wag mo na. Dito matas revenue for the year kasi walang prior years. Cost of construction mo, 10.5 is given. So, gross profit for the year mo is 1,575,000. Now, gaya na sabi dito, year 2, highly probable na. So, yung 20% gagamitin mo na instead of the 15%. Yeah? And take note, increases to 20%. Hindi increases by 20%. Be careful kasi may mga problems sasabihin niya na increases by 20%. So, pag by 20% yan, 15 plus 20%, which is 35, yun yung gagamitin. Pero, pag sinabi increases to 20%, ibig sabihin from 15, 20% na siya. Be very careful with the wording. Comprehension is the key. So, saan tayo dito? 20x2. So, ang mangyayari, cost incurred to date natin, magkano na yun? 10.5 plus 14.3. Tama na. That's 24.8. Yeah? Plus the estimated cost to complete. So, 31 million yung total contract cost. So, 24.8 divided by 31. As provided naman dyan, it's 80% time percentage to completion. And since, sabi dito, highly probable na by year 2, so instead of the 115%, 120% tayong gagamitin. So, estimated total contract price mo, 37,200. So, yun na, revenue to date, same lang. Times 80%, 29,760. Para i-recognize mo lang yung for the current year, tanggalin mo yung previous year kasi, paulit-ulit natin sinasabi since kanina pa, cumulative yan. So, 17.685. And yung minus mo yung cost of construction, 14.3. So, gross profit for the year mo, 20x2, 3.385. Same just dito sa gagawin mo sa number 3, sa 20x3. Diba same just? 24.8 plus 6 million times 120%, etc. Okay, 1.2 million yung iyong profit recognized in year 3. Yeah, basic lang yan. Number 13 tayo. Number 13, in 20x1, Dasco started work on a construction contract with a fixed price of 4M. Dasco uses the percentage of completion and measures its progress based on the assessment of the physical completion of the project. So, hindi based on cost, but rather on the physical completion. The estimated total contract costs were 3 million. Information of the project is follows. Cost incurred per year, 1.425 for 20x1. 1.125 for x2. Physical completion of the project, 35 and 90%. How much the revenue and cost of construction recognized in 20x2. So basically, iba lang. Same lang gagawin mo. Iba lang yung percentage of completion mo. Kasi instead of cost, physical completion yung magiging basis. So same lang. 4 million contract price, estimated total contract cost. Di ba? Expected gross profit in completion times 35% times 90%. Gross profit to date. Tanggalin cumulative, 350, 550. Pero ang pinapahanap sa atin, revenue and cost of construction. Yeah. So, 4 million times first to completion, revenue to date, 1.4 and 3.6. Tanggalin mo yung previous year, 1.4. Revenue for the year natin, 1.4, 2.2. Meron ka na, 2.2. Then, may gross profit for the year ka na, gamitin mo itong sa taas, lagay mo dito. Para ma-squeeze mo yung construction cost, 1,650,000. So, that is letter C. Yeah. Now, let's go to the number 14. Ito si number 14. So, Darko contracted to build a house for a customer. The contract price was 15M. Darko uses the percentage of completion method based on cost in recognizing revenue from the contract. The estimated total contract costs were 12.8. So, 15M yung contract price, 12.8 yung total contract cost. Darko incurred the following costs. Cost incurred, 20x1, 1,536,000. 20x2, 9,992,000. Grabe ang jump, di ba? Ngayon, in 20x2, the customer changed the design of the staircase and agreed to a 5% increase in the original contract price. Darko estimated that additional 300,000 pesos costs will be incurred. The performance obligation of contract means single performance obligation. How much are the revenue and gross profit recognized in 20x2 respectively? So, prospective application na to. Same lang sa ginagawa natin kanina. Ano-ano lang. Cost incurred to date, 1.36 divided by the estimated controls, 12% na. Ngayon, pagdating natin yung text 2, there's an increase of 300,000 sa cost. So, yung cost incurred to date mo, 1,536 plus 9,992, 11,528 divided by the new one. Kasi, nagkaroon ng increase 300,000. So, from 12.8 naging plus 300,000, naging 13,900,000 na siya. Yan ang estimate total. Estimated total contract cost mo for text 2. So, divide mo lang, 88%. Yeah? So, meron ka ng percentage of completion. Ngayon, for text 1, wala kang problema. Kasi wala nang pinagbago dyan. 15M minus 12.8, expected total profit times 12%. Profit or loss to, profit for the date, to the date mo. And profit for the year, 264. Pero pagdating to yung text 2, apart from the increase in the cost of 300,000 by 300,000, nag 5% increase in the original contract price. So, basic lang gagawin. 15M times 105%. So, same lang. Ito na yung result. Ito na yung bagong cost mo sa contract. 88%, etc., etc., 2,068,000. Walang problema dyan. Pero ang pinapahanap sa atin, how much are the revenue and gross profit recognized in 20x2? So, meron na tayong gross profit, 2,068,000. Hanapin natin yung revenue. So, same gist lang dito. 15,750 yung bagong total contract price natin, yung may additional 5%, percentage of completion, 13,860, yeah, revenue to date. Revenue from prior years. So, revenue for the, for the year, 12,060,000. So, the answer is letter A, 12,060,000 to 22,068,000 ang ating gross profit. Sakit na lalamunan ko. Pero tapos yan ito, last number naman eh. So, number 15. In 20x1, Hungry Co. started work in a long-term construction contract. So, maliban, at buti pa to. Long-term, hindi gaya ng iyong relationships. Short-term lahat. Mga current assets lang. Hungry Co. accumulates costs and recognized profits using the construction in progress account. So, using the old standard basically. Information of the contract is as follows. So, ang accounts receivable natin, ending balance for the 20x1, 20x2, 100, 300, cost incurred each year, 105 na 192, construction in progress, ending balance, 122, 364, progress billing, cumulative balance, 100, 420. So, Hungry bills the customers based on the project stage of completion, which is computed using the cost incurred. How much are the profit, revenue, and total collections in 20x2? Pinapanap sa atin profit, revenue, and total collections. So, magkano ang profit natin? Tandaan nyo, ang construction in progress, dyan pinapasok yung accumulated cost and yung mga recognized profits. Yeah. So, yung construction in progress natin, ending balance, basically, if I remember correctly, yan yung revenue, di ba? Revenue yan siya. Construction in progress, ending balance, kasi nandyan na yung cost, nandyan din yung profit. So, ending balance natin for 20x1 is 122, provided here. Ngayon, since construction in progress is made up of the accumulated cost and the recognized profit, meron kang contract cost incurred to date of magkano? 105. O, tanggalin mo yan siya. So, kung anong matira, yun yung profit to date mo. Diba? Kasi revenue yan siya. And revenue is made up of the profit and the cost. Tanggalan mo yung cost, natira na lang yung profit. In this case, that is 17K. Wala ka naman previous year, so profit for that is 17K. Going to 20x2, 364 na yung construction in progress. Then, yung cost incurred to date mo, yeah, yung cost incurred to date mo is 297. Bakit? 105 plus the 192. Kasi each year to eh. Incurred to date man ang kailangan dito. Di ba? So, 364 minus 297. Profit to the date mo, 67K. Pero nasama dyan yung 70K kasi cumulative yan. So, tanggalin mo yan para malaman mo yung for that particular year lang, which is 50,000 pesos. So, goods na. Ngayon, anong pinapahanap sa atin? Profit. Meron na tayo. Revenue and total collections na lang. So, as we know, Kailangan natin hanapin yung revenue for 20x2. Di ba? 20x2. Ngayon, ang revenue, as we have said, it is made up of the cost and the profit. Yeah? Nandyan yung cost, mga cost mo, nandyan yung profit mo. Ngayon, meron na tayong profit. Meron din tayong cost for 20x2. O, di work back mo na lang. Yeah? Work back na lang. Kaya dito, o to, 50k plus yung cost mo for 20x2 of 192, okay. That is 242. O, meron na tayo niyan. Meron na tayong revenue. Now, let's go to, kasi dito, under the cost-to-cost method, measure in progress, the cost of construction for is equal to the contract cost incurred during. So, ito, optional reconciliation. Now, let's go to the total collection. Gagamit natin yung accounts receivable T account. So, accounts receivable T account natin, meron kang beginning balance of 100, meron kang ending of 300. Ngayon, yung billings natin, nadadamay dyan or nagagalaw dyan yung accounts receivable, di ba? Dadagdagan mo, pag nagkaroon ng collections, bawas mo si AR. So, ang tanong dito, total collections. So, yung total collections, dinadamay si AR kasi na-collect mo na, hindi na siya receivable, collected na. So, may billings ka, and yung billings na yan, in-increase yan yung receivable, di ba? So, may billings ka for 20x2, kasi 20x2 lang ang pinapahanap. Take note for 20, yung cumulative balance ng progress billings. So, alam mong cumulative yan, pero ang hinahanap lang na naman natin is for 20x2, tanggalin mo yung previous year, which is 100,000. Kaya dito, 320 na lang. So, yan na, meron ka ng beginning accounts receivable, nag-bill ka ng 320 for 20x2, so, nag-increase yung accounts receivable mo, tapos yung ending balance mo is 300 na lang. So, ano nangyari doon sa difference na yan? Diba? Yung difference na yan, in the amount of 120, yan yung naging collections. Yan yung naging collections. Yeah? Meron kang beginning balance of 100. Nag-bill ka kay customer for the current year, 20x2, 320,000. So, nag-increase yung accounts receivable mo. Tapos, bakit ang ending 300 lang? Ibig sabihin, yung difference, na-collecta mo. Diba? Na-collecta mo in the amount of 120. So, anong letter yan? 50k. 242. 120. So, that is letter C. So, diba? Mahaba ang construction contract. Yeah? Pero, madali siyang intindihin. Just understand the concept, magigets na siya. Ma-answer mo na yung problem. With that said, sakit lang mo lang ko. Bye-bye. Love you.